Hello, I'm Gail Hanlon. I'm here on Everything Homeschooling. I hope you'll have a fun time with us today. Today we're talking about how we learn and aging. Is it better to keep kids all with their same age level, or is it better to mix age levels and ability levels? So, hang out, go get a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and something fun, and we will get started short. Well, exciting day today. It's Friday again. I love doing this show on Friday. It's always a time that people tend to be getting more relaxed. The stresses of the work week and are behind it. And if you work full time, I do 24/7, 7 days a week. You have to create your own relaxed time. So we are streaming live on Facebook, on my own personal page, on my school page, on the Learn Free page, and also streaming on YouTube and LinkedIn. So wherever you are, please say hi and tell me where you're from, and where you're watching from. And so let's get started. So today we're talking about how we learn. Now, if you've read anything by John Holt or Peter Gray, you already have the answers to these questions. So I highly recommend you look those up. How kids learn, how children learn, how children fail. Um, Anything and everything by John Holt, and anything and everything by Peter Gray and Riley, with unschooling. But if you haven't read any of those, let's just go through how you remember learning, or how you observed your children learning. So, for instance, before you were too old, you learned how to walk and talk do a bunch of things. You probably, if you have children, you've observed them copying you. You're not the same age as them. You're not the same experience level as them. So that's exactly what we're talking about here. How we share what our experiences are with our children, and that's why their social environment is important. So I mean, I'm not talking about segregating our kids, because I remember when my mother wanted me to meet the right kind of man, she enrolled me in a tennis academy, because only the right kind of men would go tennis academy. So yeah. Um, when our children interact with real people from different ages, they are going to pick up things we might not expect. First, we have our influence on them as parents, as relatives. Then we have the experience of those people, the children that they're playing with, the other people that they're spending the majority of time with. And then there's everybody in greater society that are going to be observing. That is such a big thing. Observing other people and other kids, what they do, how they do it. Babies don't just sit and stay sitting. They might see other kids and see themselves pull up. Even if they don't see other children pulling themselves up, they have that natural instinctive desire to get up on their 2 feet and start walking. They listen and they practice sounds. They have all sorts of sounds that they make, and around 2 or 3, they will be saying things expecting that you understand. And they get frustrated when we might have to ask a question like, what do you mean? I don't understand. There have been a lot of people that have written about experiences with their children where they listen to kids and then respond as if understood what's said. Now, that doesn't usually cause a problem. It actually helps motivate the child to keep talking and to keep expressing themselves. I remember my mother, when she was around the kids, and she couldn't understand them, she would listen very intently, pay attention to what the child is saying, and then said, "Wow, I had one too," and the wheels fell off. It's not only really responded well to being heard, which I think everybody responds well to being heard and being listened. So I'm going to look today at some specifics, though, about the realities of how we learn and what the benefits are. So I'm going to put some information over here, and we're going to talk about the benefits of mixed age groups. You may have heard of Sudbury Valley School, or the Sudbury Method, which is Sudbury Valley School, Massachusetts. Summer Democratic School. You can see hundreds of these self-directed. Sorry, there's a fly chasing my face. There's hundreds of these self-directed schools where kids interact not by a date of manufacture. So I always said I didn't want my kids to be over-socialized by their own peer group and under-socialized by the rest of the world. And that was reasons that I began homeschooling almost 30 years ago. So when kids have the opportunity to share and interact with each other, there's so many benefits. And some of the benefits are these. Competition. The kind of competition that's negative. Kids get really angry about not getting the best or the most or whatever. Competition is almost eliminated. However, healthy competition and healthy interaction where children cooperate and where they respect each other's ability and they identify, hey, that person can climb that tree one more branch than I can. I'm try that too. The spirit of cooperation is what happens when children see other kids' abilities and they're not in a situation they have to outdo that other person. When they're together and seeing each other's abilities, it becomes a very, very, very positive environment. A number of reasons. A child who might know something that another doesn't, and they explain it, and then that child is hearing it for the first time. That's the reason a lot of teachers actually become teachers. They love seeing that glistening in the eyes of somebody who's just learning something new for the first time. So a child who's imparting their knowledge to another child, a younger child, will feel esteem and my husband's just popped home. So thanks, honey. Have a good day. Their self-esteem gets boosted. I've seen it in the international students that I have come over France and Spain. They enter the host family's children, and the children of the host family know English, and the student doesn't. So they might be 6 or 7 years old, and they're explaining the rules of a game or how to pronounce an English word to a teenager. And then that young child feels confident and the self-confidence that comes in is wonderful because they're able to say, hey, I taught this old person some, and they feel good about themselves. So another benefit of age mixing in school or in just home groups or any situation that you're in is that children are not labeled according to their ability, especially not being labeled by an outside element like an adult or an authoritarian figure. Children in a group that are the same age are referred to when they're discussed about individually as me low or above or at par. As my grandfather said, average is as close to the bottom as it is to the top. Who would ever want to be average? So children who referred to as, not at grade level feel bad. Now, some children may spark that caution that drives them to try harder, but it's not in a positive competitive way, in a positive collaborative way. And children who are maybe higher on that level of abilities are purported to be people, the other kids that are the same age are sometimes artificially inspired and might get a little haughty or H-A-U-G-H-T. Why? They might not understand how not to brag. And so it's often difficult with the same age. And that's why I never used grade levels at all. And two, we always looked for mixed groups, and it wasn't hard because mixed group of people are real life. So my daughter at 5 years old had a little sticker business. I invested in her business. She loved the stickers that she'd see at the dentist's office, the reels and rolls of stickers. And so I found the company you buy the stickers from. They were about $5.95. Now they're not now. But I ended for about 10 rolls of stickers, all different. And she had them in a little briefcase that she would take on the bus wherever we went. And she would walk up in the bus aisle asking people if they wanted a sticker, especially parents with kids on the bus. Would you like a sticker? 25 cents. So she was interacting with real people of all different ages, all different walks of life, all different religions, all different traditions. And that was, she did that at the library, everywhere we went. She was interacting with people at different ages. And I saw how much she was able to garner and grasp from that. So mixed age classrooms students feel free to take pride in their abilities and are encouraged and naturally motivated to help one another. They're not told you're a peer, support person. If they're playing the same game or working on the same project and they're different ages, they want to help each other. The motivation is different. It's not, I have to be better than that person. It's, I want to help that person. The pace. We're into number 3 here on my list of benefits of mixed mixing in learning and how we learn. The pace of learning is individualized. Children, I saw it last week, my grandson, years old, going to the park. The older kids were concerned about his comfort level. The oldest girl who on this play equipment made sure that she said to everybody, hey, stop rocking. He's not ready to come on yet. He's scared of it rocking. She recognized that. I never sang. And the multi-age kids in that playground, out of pure generosity of spirit and kindness and concern for my little grandson, every time he came running up to the equipment and was scared, they made sure they stopped it. Nobody told them to. Nobody had to instruct them, because it's natural for us wanting to help each other. So, because his pace was a lot slower at becoming comfortable with that piece of equipment. Same thing when kids are building things together. And working together, a young child might be an assistant, passing tools and helping to adults or other older aged kids. They feel confident, they feel helpful, they feel involved, and they are learning at their own pace. They're not being asked to steam ahead about knowledge, and they're not being told that they can't play because they don't know what it is. They're not learning it fast. Every child reads differently, processes information differently. So how do you know your child might be somebody who has color blindness? And here we are trying to get them to do things that are based with color. And we don't know that they might be colorblind, but we don't know that. Forcing them to do things that we expect other kids to be able to do is why we need to observe our children and observe the children that we're around, and see how they do things. How do they interpret action or activity? And how can we help them get the most out of it? Instead of judging them or treating them differently because of their perceived deficiency. Some kids read very, very fast. My daughter finished a novel in 3 hours when she was, and I could not keep up. I bought book after book after book, and then we got involved with the library book sale so that she could get books. And all the kids that were involved with me, they each had a box, and I said, you can get whatever you can carry. If you can carry that box of books, then you can get that box of books, and you can fill it up to as much as you carry. And listening to the older children read to the children, and then letting them pick words that they want to read. If they came in and were repeat in whatever it was that they were reading. This model allows for students who are ready for the next challenge to advance without becoming bored. There is no busy work. It provides the students with the extra time that they need and the opportunity to learn at their own pace. So, going on, the fourth benefit of mixed age learning, children develop as a family with their friends. And sometimes this is a really important thing. It's not the type of family that, if they finish grade 12 and then they can't get a job, they're going to run home to their friend or their teacher instead of their parents. No, they're always going to run home to their parents. But mixed age groups for learning generate natural community, natural caring, natural leadership roles. So you'll be able to spot the child, like that young girl on the playground equipment. And she was a natural leader. She was kind. She was thoughtful. She took everybody's abilities and comfort levels into consideration, and did it with and gentility, and it was a beautiful thing to see. As kids learn in mixed groups, they take on the role of leader as the younger kids come to the group, and as the older ones progress, it's a natural flow. So, 5. Children are viewed as unique individuals. I cannot tell you how many times kids that I've observed have felt different and start homeschool and get involved with homeschooling groups or pods or any type of sports or activities. They then said, I belong here because I'm different, just like everybody else. And so they recognized and respect and appreciate each other's differences, each unique abilities, and therefore didn't feel alone, didn't feel like the odd man out. There's a difference between fitting in and belonging. Fitting in means changing yourself to try to be what others expect you to be. When you feel that innate natural belonging in a group, that's when you thrive. And we all want our children to thrive, right? Not just survive, not struggle through the challenges. Yes, they will have challenges. Yes, they'll learn how to get over those challenges. Nothing is ice cream all the way, and And those challenges occur naturally. There will be differences of opinion. There will be interesting, new thing that those kids are going to be learning from those older children, and versa. Each child in a mixed group has something valuable to offer, and they can build their self-esteem and their natural abilities within that mixed age group. Again, I never want kids to be over-socialized by their own peer group and under-socialized by the rest of the world. Putting kids in groups by date of factor, yes, kids will make friends. They will feel, that see kids that are just like them, and that's important. But it makes me reflect on the deaf community I'm very involved with, and when young deaf children never saw adults in a working environment, in a natural daily environment. They never saw one at a bank. They never saw one at a grocery store. They never saw another deaf person who was older than 16, because the school went up to 16. There are children in those schools who think that they die at the age of 16 because they've never seen adults, deaf adults, doing real work, having jobs. And the deaf community has done a lot to promote this. Last one that we've kind of talked about throughout all of these is self-esteem blossoms. Multi-age groups are psychologically healthier because they promote friendship in differences and provide extended contact with adults and peers and varying ages. Groups show a notable increase in self-esteem. And I opened the with. It's a very, very different way of looking at things. And with interdisciplinary competencies and those different aged abilities coming together to collaborate rather than to compete is always improving their performance, their understanding, their abilities, the clarity of comprehension. Creates a situation where no learning gaps occur because they're not being compared to each other. They are allowed to go at their own pace. There is a resource, according to UNESCO, multi-grading occurs in about 1/3 of school classes worldwide. Budget reasons, it's the only option for some developing countries. And it's a customary practice in rural areas as well. In the United States, it is said that 28% of the schools were using multi-age group in recent years. It's becoming more popular, mainly because we've seen over decades how it is beneficial. But it's not restricted to remote and rural areas, and it's gaining support with educators. And in homeschooling, it is the bomb. I mean, we had 77 kids out for summer. They were not the same age. Every Wednesday morning, these kids came together. They cooperated. They ran sprints. They helped each other, and they had a blast doing it. So this is our half an hour now. And I would love to answer any questions anybody has. If you're watching this on the replay, please put any questions you may have. And don't hesitate to reach out. I will be back again next Friday afternoon at 3 p.m. So watch for our next Everything Homeschooling. And today challenge is mixed age activities.